Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another edition of the Narrator Podcast. The Narrator Podcast is the home of original people peace, original people reciprocity, and original people culture. And I am your host, Halsey Allen. Welcome to the Narrator Podcast. Welcome all my narrators. How's everybody doing on this fantastic Thursday? It seems like the new year just got here and we're gearing up, going full steam ahead, like shifting into springtime. Winter's just about out of here. The media is the news is going crazy today. I got a whole lot of stuff I want to, talk about today. But before I do all that, all my narrators, they already know the demonstration, but I have to give you a brief overview, a synopsis of the Narrative Podcast before diving into the content. For all the people that are unfamiliar with me and my platform, just kind of walk you through to give you a gist of, what type of content you'll be in store for this evening or whenever I share it back to the social. But yeah, before my synopsis, I feel like I need to acknowledge a couple things before diving into my synopsis. And then after the synopsis, I'm going to, dive into the content. But first and foremost, I want to acknowledge the life and times of one of our most prolific leaders of, everybody refers to it as the civil rights era, but it's just like, I refer to that time period as the human rights era. Our people was getting treated less than human back then. And like one of the biggest, most influential voices of that movement was none other than our brother Malcolm X. Also, when he had his full awakening after he became Orthodox Muslim, Malik El-Shabazz, he was assassinated yesterday. And of course, I wasn't broadcasting on the 21st. I can't even form words to, frame up the picture of how instrumental he was into, getting people activated, making people aware and instilling pride and dignity into our people at a time when we was getting treated, less than human beings. And then, of course, we know the powers that be played a very instrumental role into his demise, causing dissension amongst his organization that he was part of, the NOI, and, ultimately, orchestrated his untimely demise. But, we'll forever remember him and forever, strive to be what he was to some capacity. He showed us, what a real man was, what a real brother was. He was revered and loved by a whole lot. A whole lot of people say a whole lot of things. I wasn't alive back then, so I don't know what's what and what's not. But what I do know is just like he's been gone for over 30 years, and everything that he said back then is still, applicable and resonates to the climate of today. his work is still being carried on by the younger generation, and you know, it's unfortunate that, you know, he got taken from us. So we're going to give that brother a moment of silence. And then also, we want to acknowledge the life and times of a young lady that just recently passed away today. You know, we're living in like meme culture. You know, if her life story was a meme, it would be like the caption would read, "I didn't sign up for this." And she literally did not sign up for it. She was born into it. You know, activist, advocate for HIV and AIDS, Hyderia Broderick. I know I'm probably saying her name incorrectly, but I apologize for that. She passed away recently today, I believe. And, you know, her story is like pretty much everywhere. She was like abandoned at birth. She's been on every single talk show you can talking about, you know, her life experiences. She was adopted. Her adoptive father announced the news to the world. She was 39. She spent all of her life advocating and educating people about that unfortunate disease. It's still pretty much rampant within our community with all these new things coming out. That's still a big time unaliver in our community. So you definitely still have to be aware of that and caution yourself to, you know, recognize the signs and symptoms. But, you know, she was a beautiful young lady, and she lived, she didn't let that deter her from living life. I don't know how she was looking and what her health was like in the final stages, but, you know, she championed that cause, and she didn't, you know, let that stop her for what she wanted to do in life. She accomplished a whole lot. She had, you know, several nonprofit organizations. You know, she was a very outspoken advocate and public figure championing that cause and bringing awareness to that. And, you know, to HIV and AIDS. I'm not even saying it, I don't know why, but yeah. But she definitely was a hero for that movement, and she will be missed by all. So give her a moment of silence. Okay. So rest well, Brother Malik El Hashabaz. And rest well, our sister Hyderia Broderick. So, before diving into the content this evening, I got to walk you through what the Narrator Podcast is all about. So we're going to start at the top. Tippy, the name, the Narrative Podcast. I named my podcast the Narrative Podcast because I don't like the false narrative that the media weaves about original people and original culture. So what I want to do to counter that was design a platform where I'm doing just the opposite of what the media does to our people and our culture, which is vilify us and, you know, negatively warp and skew our images and our likenesses. They primarily do this to sell news And then they also do that because the media is ran by the powers that be. And if you don't know who the powers that be are, the powers that be is like higher echelon of society, the elite class, aka wealthy white people. They kind of do that to everybody. And the reason why they do that to everybody is they just want to feel important. They want to feel like they're, cultured and sophisticated. And to maintain that image, what they want to do is they want to tarnish and sully everyone else's image to make them, when compared up against them, they want to make them seem uneducated, violent, lazy, degenerate in nature, in comparison to them. And they do that, like I said, to everybody. They do that to help them solidify their socioeconomic stronghold over all the resources, and, projecting all these negative images and manipulating the media. So like I said, they do it to everybody, but they do it to our people the most. And the reason why they do it to our people the most is because they fear our people the most. And they're so fearful of our people is because they are aware of their history. They know how they acquired their resources. They know how they came into power. And then they're also aware of our people, our past, and realize, there would be nothing without us, that we made them, and it wasn't the other way around. And their biggest fear is that, once we all realize that, or act like we all realize that, because we already realize that, a lot of us already know, already have the knowledge, but when we start, acting like that as a people, meaning getting on one accord and slowly building, reclaiming, and taking back everything that they took from us. Their biggest fear is that we would do to them what they've done and what they're currently attempting to do to us. That's their biggest fear. They don't want their power usurped. They don't want to, share a gated community with us. They don't want our name next to their name. They don't want us to be their equal in any way, shape, or form. So they'll go out of the way to, twist and manipulate the narrative, and they use the media to do that. So that's why I created this platform, to basically, build a platform where I'm highlighting our people and showing us in the most positive of lights, and showcasing and highlighting us at our best instead of us at our worst, because the media is always showing us disenfranchised, ignorant, violent, and just engaging in lewd, crude, degenerate acts. So my mission statement for the Narrator podcast, basically, what I'm here for is to bring awareness to the listening audience, especially my people, of why it's important to responsibly utilize our platforms to put out positive frames of reference about our people and our culture, because everybody outside of our culture, all they're supplied with about our people and our culture is just negative frames of reference. They don't know anything other than, what they see on television, what they hear in the music, what they read in books, what they read in magazines, what they hear on the radio. Yeah, we still got radio, all with this technology. We still listen to the radio, but yeah. And all these, frames of reference are tainted the narrative is flipped, and like I said, they flip the narrative to make us seem, degenerate and low-lifed and violent and just irredeemable as a people. Which brings me to my next point, my tagline. That was a perfect segue. The tagline for my podcast is the Narrative Podcast, changing the narrative one episode at a time. How do I change the narrative? How do I destroy or change the narrative? Oh, excuse me, I messed it all up. Run that back. Narrative Podcast, changing the narrative one episode at a time by destroying negative stereotypes about original people and original culture. How do I destroy the negative stereotypes about our people and our culture? By providing positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. And that's what the entire Narrative Podcast is all about, providing the listening audience positive frames of reference about our people and our culture, and bringing awareness of why that's important, and putting positive frames of reference out there as opposed to to counter these negative frames of reference that the media feeds to the masses about our people and our culture. So basically it's just like what they're doing is a form of psychological warfare. They want to program and condition, the minds of the masses. They want to turn everybody against us, and they want to even turn us against us by, warping our perception of our own selves, putting out, negative self-images of us. And so we're constantly bombarded with these negative images every single day, and it takes root into your subconscious, and you kind of act out, on a subconscious level, you kind of act out these negative stereotypes and stigmas that the media places over us. So that's our eternal struggle as a people. So what the Narrative Podcast is not about, it's not about seeking validation from people outside of our culture. It's really not even enlightening people outside of our culture about our people and our culture. This is basically a platform where I'm saying, if you're going to tell our story, tell it correctly. And the correct way to tell our story is tell it from the perspective of kings and queens, gods and goddesses of the universe. Which brings me to my next point. I call my listening audience, my target listening audience, my narrators. And that's a term I coined because, it's indicative to the times that we're living in now, and indicative of how, business is conducted these days. Because like I said, the media is ran by, a wicked, horrible entity, organization, with a wicked, evil agenda. But at the end of the day, it's business. And the number one rule is a supply and demand. And right now, the biggest product out there that's being marketed to our people is degeneracy. And we kind of created the need for that product by feeding into those negative stereotypes and stigmas that the media places over us. We feed in it by recycling these negative stereotypes and stigmas online, because, that's how everything is done now, is online. People judge you as an individual based on what you're posting online. They equate you as a person, like whatever content that you're putting out there. They like your hobbies, your interests, your beliefs, your value system, all that's, factored in about your content that you're posting online, even some even in the job world, like employers look at, what you're posting. Like even if you got your, profile set to private, they got software where they can look at whatever you're posting on, whatever, platform you're on. And then they judge like whether you will be a good fit for their company or their outfit or whatever. But like I said, not only that, that's how these Fortune 500 companies do business as well. They, they look at, what you're posting. They monitor trends. They monitor what you're clicking on, and then they will go and create content or products to accommodate the visible trend, like what they believe that you're interested in, and what they believe our people is interested in as a people, because we keep on regurgitating it online, is degeneracy. And they keep on creating degeneracy for us. And we keep on just, blindly taking the bait. But like bringing me back to my point, this is why I call my target listening audience my narrators, because we're in the unique position to, tell or narrate our own stories. Because we can't control what, the media is posting online. We can't control what other media outlets is posting. But we can control what we're posting online. We can't control our own content. And so long as we're, posting positive self-images, that's really kind of all that matters. Like, we can't control what everybody else is posting. We can control what we're posting. That's what I encourage my listening audience to do. That's why I call them my narrators. And that's how we can control the narrative as a people, by controlling or changing the narrative like that. Like, we can't control how everybody else perceives us as and how they react and respond to us, but we can control, what types of images we're putting out about our people and our culture. It's not the end-all, be-all solution, but it is a solution. Next order of business, the Narrator podcast is a positive space. So like I said, I promote positive self-images about original people and original culture. I don't engage in negativity, gossip, or slander, or name-calling, or kicking dirt on other people. I don't encourage, us to feed into the rumor mill about other brothers and sisters. Because, we're the only people to get attacked from all sides, and the last thing we should be doing is using our platforms to attack one another. We should, if anything, we should unite and unify, use our platforms to unite and unify. So we shouldn't be like getting online, getting on the gram, getting on X or whatever platform that you're affluent on, to say something negative about another brother or another sister. And so I kind of, discourage against that, and that's not what my platform's about at all. I don't do gossip. I don't do slander. None of that. And then lastly, or not lastly, but next to last, I refer to our people as original people as often as possible. And the reason why I refer to our people as original people as often as possible is because I believe original, is a historically accurate term, and it also unifies us as a people. So what do I mean by historically accurate? So instead of calling our people black on the Narrator podcast, I try to refer to our people as original people. The historical significance of us referring to ourselves as original people is just It's just acknowledging that we was here first. We were the first people on this planet. Our existence on this planet predates, all logs, all journals, all religious tract, all tablets, everything that you could ever record existence about a people. Like, we was here longer than that. And contrary to all unpopular belief, we didn't evolve from monkeys. We wasn't, living in caves. We wasn't we wasn't hunched over. We didn't have a small Neanderthal brain. We wasn't using prehistoric tools and weapons. We was the first fully sentient, highly evolved beings on this planet. We was always doing something next level. We was creating and building civilization. Everywhere we existed, we brought enlightenment and education. We never bought war, famine, pestilence. That was somebody else. Like, we wasn't, covered in hair, living in the mountains. Like, that was somebody else. Like I said, we was fully sentient. We was creating advanced civilization, building architectures. If you ever want to know where the original people was at, all you have to ever do is look at the artwork, the paintings, and the statues. And you will notice the paintings and the statues, they don't look like the people that live there. They got African features everywhere on the planet. And then another point that I always stress, contrary to all unpopular belief, we inhabited every single corner of the globe. There wasn't no corner of the globe we wasn't originally located at, especially here in the Americas, especially any place where they speak Spanish. Especially in all parts of Asia, we was already originally there. Like, we was already originally in the Mediterranean. We was already, in Europe, Italy, Rome, like Greece, like we was everywhere. Canada, like, you understand? The islands, all the, Pacific Islands, like Virgin Islands, Bahamas, Hawaii, like we was already there. And contrary to all unpopular belief, we didn't get to all these places via slavery. We wasn't. All of us were not slaves, especially when you're talking about the United States. Like, not every single last one of us came over here on a slave boat. The majority of us was already located here. So while slavery was a real thing, it did happen. They keep on putting out the false narrative about our involvement with it and how long it actually lasted. But yeah, that's what I mean by original people on the historic side of it. What I mean by original people on the unity side of it is like there's many different types of us, hailing from many different land masses, believing in many different things, speaking different languages, whatever you can divide, whatever can separate a people, we got that between us. We got language barriers, we got religious barriers, cultural barriers, But the one thing we all have in common is we all possess melanin, aka carbon, and we can all trace our lineage back to the original point of origin for all civilization. So that's why, as a people, we're original, no matter what you call yourself, what you refer to yourself as. We got brothers and sisters, oh, I'm Jamaican, I'm Haitian, I'm this, I'm that, and, I'm from Ghana, I'm from, everybody's representing their flags, but, at the end of the day, we all original people. Everybody outside of our culture, they all lump us into one category. They just call us black, and, we're not. We're original people. If you want to refer to yourself as black, go right on ahead. I'm not stopping you. I'm just telling you on the Narrative Podcast, I refer to our people as original people. And my last misnomer you should know about this podcast is it's time sensitive. I never try to exceed 1 hour per broadcast. The reason why is because it's an all audio platform, and I want to keep my listeners attentive, entertained, and receptive to the content that I'm putting out. So, I want you guys to interact with me, and I can't do that very well if I'm boring you to sleep. So I want to keep it fresh. I want to keep it concise. I want to make my content digestible as possible. I don't want you to have to clear your entire schedule to, catch up on episodes, but keeping it short, sweet, to the point, I can touch on a whole lot of subject matters in a little bit of time and, keep you entertained and attentive at the same time. So there you have it. That's the Narrative Podcast experience in a nutshell. And if I missed anything, I'm over 300 episodes in, and you can definitely download this episode and all previously recorded episodes of the Narrative Podcast to get a better, broader picture of, what it is I'm doing. Without any further ado, I'm diving into the content for this evening. So this is a weekday edition of the Narrative Podcast. My format is kind of different. I broadcast 2 times during the week, and my content during the weekday is what I provide the listeners with is positive news articles about our people and our culture. Why do I do that? Because number one, I'm staying true to my mission statement. Narrative Podcast, changing the narrative 1 episode at a time by destroying negative stereotypes about original people and original culture. How do I destroy the negative stereotypes? By providing positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. So the articles are the positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. And the reason why I need to do that, because we're constantly being bombarded with negativity. Like every time you turn on the news, there's always something negative. It's always somebody going to jail. It's always, people in the entertainment industry beefing with each other. So, this is me putting some positivity out in the atmosphere with some positive things that come across my radar. I'm putting out positive frames of reference about leadership, entrepreneurship, unity, family structure, coming together as a people, being pillars within our community, caring for our children, caring for our elderly, basically just being a tribe. So this is, tribalism in a good way. So without any further ado, the first article here on the weekday edition of the Narrative Podcast, the headline reads, First Black Woman in Mississippi gets her own portrait in state capitol. And the sister's name was Alice Clark. She's 84 years young. She's a Democrat from Jackson, Mississippi. She served Mississippi for 34 years before she decided on running for re-election. And the city has donated herself with her own portrait in the state capitol, and she's the first candidate to ever actually have her own portrait. So, this is a monumentous occasion because she's just the first, politician in that state to even get their own picture on the Capitol. So, let's join me in giving that sister a warm Narrative podcast round of applause for that prestigious honor. All right. Next article on the Narrative podcast, the headline reads, Beyonce Knowles and Kelly Rowland back an $8.4 million project for permanent homeless housing in Houston. They are partnering with Harris County, and the project, the homeless project is named the Knowles Rowland House after both of them. So it's named after both of them, the Knowles Rowland House. I don't know. I mean, I know they donated, but I think they should find something that rolls off the tongue a little bit smoother, like Knowles Rowland, like, I don't know. I guess they're just happy that they got somewhere to stay, and I'm happy for them sisters that they're doing something positive within the community, because usually, especially these days, in Beyonce news, it's all negative. It's country music's coming for, other artists is coming for, but it's always good to hear somebody from our community doing positive things for our community. So she is a Houston native, and she's helping her people. She's been all around the world, but she's staying tapped into her roots and her heritage in Houston, Texas. Kalondra Rowland as well. So, that's something really good, positive, uplifting, heartwarming, and all that. So the project that they're working on is going to provide future residents with a range of supportive services, such as transportation assistance, mental health support, community resources, physical and behavioral support, and access to more interventions. So I don't want to know what that means by more interventions, but I guess that's a fancy way for saying whatever they need. But anyway, a person on hand at the groundbreaking was Yvette Torrance, and she said, I believe the city of Houston wants to see everybody housed. And she is with an organization called Bread of Life. And if you want to find out what they're doing, go to www.breadoflife.org. And the physical address is, it was established in 2019. The physical address for the Bread of Life Center is 1260 Fulton Avenue. Nope, wrong one. My bad again. Yeah, my bad, y'all. So it's Bread of Life Incorporated, 2019 Crawford Street, Houston, Texas. Phone number 939-7477, and they offered all the amenities and assistance that the Knowles Rowland House will be offering. As a matter of fact, her mother Tina and father Mr. Knowles, I forgot it. I think it's Matthew. Forgot his first name, but they for years have been paying into that particular nonprofit organization. But they help the people provide assistance, educational. They got a program, where they're giving people to participate in the program to change their life trajectory into getting careers in tech and high-paying jobs. Also with housing assistance, food. They got something called the Academy, Bread of Life Academy. Which makes the people that enroll in that particular program more employable. They offer Cisco network training and phlebotomy courses, like with blood. You know what I'm trying to say. But anyway, good program. Proud of both of them sisters. So join me in the War Narrative podcast. Round of applause to Beyonce and Kelly for their contribution to Knowles Rowland House. Coming soon. Yeah, they're still in the process of building it. They still got a whole lot more money to raise, more funds to raise. But you can go to the breadoflife.org, and they got details on how to assist if you want to help out if you live in the Houston area. All right, keeping it pushing, moving right along. This is a super short one, a real good, feel-good article. Nice and fluffy, give you a warm fuzzy. The next article, the headline reads, Bus driver saves the day when student doesn't have PJs for pajama day. And the bus driver's name is a brother by the name of Larry Fisher Jr. The first grader's name was Levi. The article did not say Levi's last name. But apparently, this happened in Kentucky at a elementary school. At Eaglehard Elementary School in Kentucky. So basically, longer story short, what happened was, brother Larry, he's a regular bus driver. He got a good rapport with all the students, and that particular day, he seen young Levi. Like I said, the article didn't say his last name. Basically, he was crying. He was sad because he didn't have any pajamas. The school was having a pajama day, and so he went above and beyond and bought the young man some pajamas with his own money. Not for nothing, bus drivers make some pretty good money. Just putting that out there, but bought the young man some PJs so he didn't feel ostracized from the celebration, because I don't know, little things like that in public school matters. Like if you didn't have pajamas on PJ Day, that could have kind of like forever scarred them. Like, I don't know. Some people remember they didn't get Valentine's Day, a Valentine on Valentine's Day. You know, back in elementary, used to make the little Valentine mailboxes. It's like some people, like big grown adults, still salty because they didn't used to get, you know, Valentines in Valentine boxes. Like me, that wouldn't be me personally. All I ever wanted was the candy. So they can keep the Valentines. Just give me the candy. But anyway, yeah. So that was a good, noble gesture. Join me into giving that brother a warm Narrator podcast round of applause for his exemplary warm heart. All right, I got 2 more articles for you guys. And then we're going to dive into, in lieu of Black History Month, I got a couple Black history facts I'm going to hit you with. Next article on the Narrative Podcast, the headline reads, Meet the remarkable, formerly homeless mom of 2, who is now CEO of 8 successful companies. She is a serial entrepreneur by the name of Janae White, dubbed the GOAT of entrepreneurship. She has 8 thriving companies. She has like nonprofit mentoring programs, real estate, 26 Airbnbs, her own construction business, and counting. She also does TED Talks, like motivational speakers, corporate motivational speeches as well. So she's like really affluent on social media. She just recently got in trouble though. She had an accuser come out and say she was scamming. Somebody with that, you know, level of success doesn't need to scam anybody, but, you know, he tried to be on Facebook and produce receipts about some type of class saying, you know, she was getting over on people. And basically, you know, that hood came out of her. She's like, I don't give no MF and refunds. I don't know what they're talking about. Like, you know, she got real super hood, but she got a, you know, a motivational story, and she's just basically like the epitome of your current situation doesn't have to be your final destination. She came out of being homeless and, you know, being a woman, got businesses in a whole lot of male-dominated fields, and, you know, she's continuing to thrive and continuing to build businesses, build opportunities for those that don't have opportunities. So, yeah. So, scandal aside, join me at giving that brother Janae White a warm Narrative podcast round of applause for being a serial entrepreneur. So, a serial entrepreneur, if you didn't know, is like a person with more than one business. And just in case you didn't know. All right. Next article, the headline reads, from selling clothes out of the trunk of his car to sold in 45 stores nationwide. And the brother's name is William Nearin, but on social media known as Billy Abstract. That's the name of his brand, Billy Abstract. The article didn't say why he chose abstract, but Billy was his, nickname because Bill is short for William. So Billy Abstract, and I'm guessing it had to do something with art. He grew up in South Philly projects and Passion projects in Philadelphia until like the age of 6, and then he moved to West Philadelphia. So, West Philadelphia, born and raised, where the program. Okay. Anyway, so he became interested in fashion design when he was young. He used to like to read comic books, and he used to like basically, sketch. And he just always was fascinated with sketching things. So before that, he worked in, sales. He had 2 sales jobs for some high-end Fortune 500 companies. So he had about 4 or 5, close to a decade doing sales for high-end fashion retail places. And then he decided to just one day quit his job and pursue his dream of designing his own clothes. He had always, was sketching up his own clothes, and he just, started designing his own clothes. So he too is a serial entrepreneur. He has several different businesses, several different endeavors. He also does motivational speeches, TED Talks, IG, YouTube, just type it in the browser, Billy Abstract, and see how much stuff pops up. He also has a program called Six Figure Program Initiative, which basically he's teaching, people thinking about starting their own business, giving them the blow by blow how to do it. He's also written a book called Young Dreamer's Guide to Making as a Creator. I think I messed that title up. Just a second. He got a ebook called Dream Traveler. Well, I think it's just that one book, but he also got a online course called Six Figure Creative Course Advanced. He's coming out with all kinds of stuff. He's one of those people that's just constantly inventing and acting out whatever comes on into his head. He's one of them people that knows once they can do it, now I'm not going to just stop, putting writing it down, and then after it's on paper, then act it out, stage 1, stage 2. He's one of those types of people. Which is what you want to be. You want to be one of those types of people too. I definitely want to be one of those types of people. Well, I think I'm kind of doing it a little bit, showing consistency with this when I'm doing, but always room for improvement. But anyway, join me into giving the Warm Narrative podcast round of applause for Billy Abstract. Next up on the Narrator podcast, I met you with some Black History facts. Black History fact number 1 from Soul Brother number 1. James Brown, he was a serial entrepreneur. Not many people know that he owned several restaurants, had 3 record labels, radio station, first person in United States of America to own their own private jet. And he also had his own food stamps. James Brown. Good guy. That James Brown. He had his own food stamps. Now that part wasn't featured in the biopic with the late Chadwick Boseman, but yeah, that was a real thing. He had his own food stamps. And the reason why he did that, because he said he wanted to funnel money back into the community. So yeah, James Brown was he had a good business mind. All right, next Black History facts on the Narrator podcast is about the life and times of a sister by the name of Wilma Beatrice Brown. Born in 1906, she was an aviator, lobbyist, teacher, civil rights activist. She was the first sister to earn a pilot's license, just the first woman, period, but first black woman, too, to earn a pilot license. So, that's a double first. She was the first sister to run for Congress. She was the first black person, period, to get recruited for the Civil Air Patrol. First woman in the U.S. to have a pilot's license and an aircraft mechanic's license. So she not only flew planes, she fixed them as well. So yeah, let's clap it up for our sister. Willa Beatrice Brown. All right. So last but not least on the Narrator podcast, I'm going to just hit you with some speaking points. I want to talk about some things trending currently. My speaking points of the day is just usually like, what's happening nationally or globally, or things within our community. Whatever's happening in the world from our perspective. Whether it's involving our people or just, something happening nationally or, internationally, that it would affect our people in some type of way. And the purpose of me doing that, because as the old saying goes, if you don't tell your own story, your story will be told for you. So, when I'm doing my little commentaries, I'm just basically telling our story for us. Because the media have us go out of their way to have us looking and sounding crazy. So I'm just unpacking whatever's going on in the world or within our community from our perspective, what's happening. But anyway, without any further ado, diving into, speaking points of the day. First thing I want to talk about is Donald Trump. So, what is he not doing? This guy just does not miss. They keep on trying to just bring him down. And I don't like him on some, on some emotional type stuff, the things he says. Of course, as an original man, it makes me angry about, just like the things that come out of his mouth. But if we're going to talk about it, let's talk about it. Like, if he was from our community, he would be like a gangster rapper, like, because he just has the I don't give a F attitude. They just found this fool like $4 million. And then you know what he turned around and did? He released some shoes. And they made over $1 million in the first week. The Never Surrenders. He was selling them for like $3.99 for the high tops. And then he turned around and then sold some perfume. So like, you're not going to nail him. So I don't know what all this slander is about. Like, so you might as well just buckle up. He's going to be the next president no matter how you vote. Period. And I'm not endorsing him. I don't like him. But, the obvious is the obvious. I'm with, whoever's with my people. Like, what's in it for us? That's all we should be, as a people, worried about. We shouldn't be hung up on Democrat, Republican, independent, left, right, red, blue, conservative, liberal, none of that jargon. We should just only be interested in who got something for us. And we're not moving until it's something that you have something tangible for us. The only thing that I'm not liking about this is because it seems like the Democrats is using our sister Lita James as their, political pawn. It's just like, her presence online is like she's coming across like she's got a vendetta. Like she wants to take the Donster down. She wants to take the orange guy down. They got her being like, just every time she's on television, she's like overly aggressive. So I get, if he wasn't paying his dues, if he owes money, he does need to be held accountable. But at the same time, if they ain't held no other, political official accountable for all the stuff they did, all the money they owe, like it seems like she's going above and beyond, she's venturing into like, abusing your authority, and like they're putting the battery in her backpack, trying to pump her up to, just go on a rant and just spew all this rhetoric. And it's not a good look. I know she means well, but it's not a good look. It's not coming across like a good look. You know what I mean? Like, sure, you should have pride in your job and do your job to your best ability. But it seems like she's singling them out. And again, I'm not endorsing Trump. I don't care nothing about Trump. I'm just telling how it looks on the surface. It looks like, they're spinning the narrative. They got her looking like the stereotypical angry black woman on the power trip. That's how they look like they're trying to spin that. So I just hope my sister aware she got some good people on her team and, a good PR person. Because the way she's looking right now, she's looking like a female John Wayne right now. Like, it's not a good look. So he does need to be held accountable. He does need to pay what he owes, but it shouldn't just be like above and beyond. And that's all I want to say on that. because it's coming across like, they're trying to exploit her to, take him down. They're trying to exploit her to take him down, is what I'm trying to say. All right, so next order of business is a young man in Texas by the name of Daryl George. And he's gone viral, with the hashtag revolution, hashtag does my hair offend you, hashtag my hair is not a threat. Now, this young man attends Barber Hill Independent School District in Texas. And he's made national headlines for, the school basically suspended him for violating, this is like last year. He's been suspended for the good part of the year. Like they suspended him, I think spring of last year. Like fall or spring of last year, he's been suspended because of his hair. He has locks, and their dress policy is basically not to have it, no males can have, hair that, is over their earlobe. Like if it comes down past their earlobe, it's too long. If it comes to their shirt, it's too long. Now he has locks, but his locks are done up in a bun. Or not like a bun, I don't know how to describe it, like a crown. You know what I mean? Like people that got locks, it's like an Indian braid type thing. But he's definitely not violating their dress code policy. So, of course, they say he's violating the dress code policy with his locks. But ho, here's the kicker. That was my dramatic effect, but there's just been recently a law passed in Texas called the Crown Act. And the Crown Act, it basically says no businesses in Texas can discriminate, against the hairstyle. Ethnic hairstyle, like basically our hairstyle. So like what's included is locks, Bantu wraps, coils, all that. Like all the hairstyles that we use, all the long hairstyles we use, they can't not hire you because of that. Can't not educate you because of that. And the school, what their clapback is, well, the Crown Act doesn't cover length. So like the trial's going on right now. Like it started last year, it's making headlines last year. The trial's going on now about this young man's hair. And as we all know, locks, they're the antennas. If you have locks, that's just like, you're getting divine intervention, like you're absorbing, like you're getting celestial energy. It's like coming right from God, coming right from the cosmos, whatever you call yourself believe in. Like, that's your antennas. That's the purpose of locks. You absorb in nature. You're like, that's our heritage. That's our roots. That's our connection to this planet is our hair. Like our hairstyles look a whole lot like nature. like all kinds of bushes and trees. Like that's our direct connection with nature is our hair. Now, me, myself, personally, I'm at an impasse with mine. It's gotten so long, I'm just contemplating, doing a baldy. I'm not going bald, but, to save time, it's just more efficient. Because I've been growing my stuff out since the thing. And I don't really want to go to a barbershop. I don't want nobody touching my face. And I don't know, I might do a baldy. I haven't, updated none of my profile pics since the thing, so I think that's the last time I did a profile pic, right when we went into quarantine. I haven't updated none of my profile pics. But for me personally, I'm probably going to do a baldy. But yeah, though. So they really try to spin the narrative like the rest of everybody knows about that case. We don't like it when they play with us in our face. They know what it is. They know exactly what it is. And they're going to try to spin the narrative like he's just being super unreasonable. But what has happened since then is, the whole community's come out to support. They was doing braiding. They had all the barbers, the local area salons in that area had came out to braid hair and etc. And in support of him. So, it's just unfortunate. You're going to hold his education up over some hair. What does that got to do with anything? He's not, breaking the dress code policy. He got it up. It's not past his ears. It's not pat down to his collar. He has it done up in a crown. His locks kind of they're doing some type of little, like Indian braid, but it's not, you know what I'm saying? If you see some pictures of how he got his hair, it's oh, they bugging. How a Caucasian young man, how he could get away with the dress code is probably do his hair up in a man bun. That's how you would get, a Caucasian child would get, sidestep that. You just do it up in a man bun. But when our community, they always rebel rousing, he's breaking the rules. It ain't nothing personal. It's the school dress code. I could see if he came to school sagging his jeans off his behind. I could see that. I could see if he came to school, with gang insignias on his hat, or some profanity, a shirt with profanity, or some a triple X shirt, because they sell that for novelties, a t-shirt, a chick giving a guy some sloppy toppy. I could see that, punishing him for something like that. But here, y'all really need to get on somewhere with that. Okay. So last thing I want to talk about, I'm going to talk about it, but I'm not talking about the person. I'm going to break it down again. I'm going to talk about it, but I'm not talking about the person, because on my platform, I don't gossip, but I do have to address things that kind of affect our community. This person's in our community. She got a polarizing platform, and it's buzzing. Been buzzing all day, but so yeah, I kind of gotta say it. So as a podcaster, I kind of got to address it. And this comes to us, is, 1/3 of TLC, or I guess like a half of TLC now, because, Lisa Left Eye Lopez is no longer with us, but 1/3 of the group, one half of the duo, Chili, Rosanda Thomas, aka Chili, affiliated with TLC, however you want to say it, but most recently, she had uploaded a video. Her and her Caucasian boyfriend was on vacation in Jamaica, and I did bring up his him being Caucasian, white. He's actually Italian, but they're on vacation in Jamaica, and then somebody posted like something to the effect, I'm not going to do the exact quote. I think that somebody like posted on social media, like, yeah, got you some chocolate, I approve, and and from there, the internet went crazy and accused her of colorism, because she said, I'm not chocolate, I'm caramel, or whatever. It was stupid. Like, the whole thing was stupid, like the internet be interneting. So if you didn't know, like, he's one of the Lawrence brothers. Like, I think he's the middle one. I think it's like Joseph is the oldest one. There's Joe Lawrence, there's him. And then I think it's like a younger one, Matt or something. I have to look it up right quick. I don't know, one of them dudes. It's the Lawrence brothers. There's like 3 of them. Been watching them all our lives. I think that one that she's dating was on the final season of Boy Meets World. So, interestingly enough, like, you know what I'm saying? I've never heard no slick out the way-ish from none of them about our people. So they've always been on a good rapport with our people. But it really kind of boils down how you feel about the whole interracial dating thing. And my thing is this. Now, me, myself, personally, I prefer a sister, and she like what she like. So she likes dudes. So if dude's treating her right, it is what it is. I see how it becomes public business when you put it out there publicly. There's all kinds of ways it could have went down, could have, should have. She didn't have to respond at all to the comment. And I can't see how a person can interpret that as colorism. It's like I started off the segment, we are the original people. And she definitely is original, because she's original, Aboriginal, native to the Americas. Her features are highly pronounced. Like I said, not all of us came from Africa. She definitely was in that percentile that didn't, come from Africa. But it's like this. It's like we can't expect entertainers to be more than entertainers. And again, I don't promote gossip, and I'm not talking about the sister. It might sound like I'm bashing her or putting her down for what I'm about to say, but I do keep it real on my podcast. I tell the real, this ain't the first time that Chili done said something not too bright. She got a track history of saying political things that just not too bright. Like if she just stopped and thought about it before she said it, like that's not the first time. Like for the deep intellectual stuff, we always look for, God rest the dead, Left Eye. She had that provocative stuff to make you think. Tion, intellectual, deep intellectual. Chili, we just keep it real. We just want her to be pretty. Like she's the pretty one. Not saying that she's not capable of like deep intellectual conversation, but we never expected nothing deep intellectual coming from Chili, from the group TLC. We never, who was just waiting for bated breath about a Chili interview? Tion is the articulate one, and Left Eye was the articulate one when all of the group. She was the eye candy. Let's keep it real. She was the eye candy. But does that mean that she hates? Should that be deemed as, she hates herself, that she hates her people, that she hates identifying as original, or AKA a black woman? Does that mean because she's dating the brother and she's dating the white dude that she don't like identifying or being associated with us? Because the same thing could be said for Sister Eve. She done went off to Europe with that white man and she done forgot, but she's still so Philly though. But with that particular thing, it's just the internet be internet and y'all too cerebral with it. Everything's not a dashiki moment. Everything's not, worthy of, us as a people. We got so much going on in our community. Why are we sitting up there worried about who somebody choosing to date? She didn't get online. Now, it would have been a different story if she would have got online and said something to the effect that she hates black men. It would have been a different story if she would get online and said in the caption, "Get you a white guy." But she didn't. She just said, "I'm caramel. I'm not chocolate." She might just, like caramel. She might like caramel. She might prefer caramel to chocolate, for dessert people. I don't know. But it wasn't we went just super deep with that. People, I think on the internet, that was a big time reach. It wasn't really nothing to worry about. If she wants to be with a white man, let her be with a white man. It is what it is. It's not a slight against brothers. I know Usher feels slighted because she chose him over him. But look who he married though. So I don't know, man. People need to get a life. It ain't really all that deep, man. It's not really all that deep. She misspoke. And if you watched all her interviews, everything that she's publicly said, she done misspoke with religion. She done misspoke with politics. She's not the bright one of the group. And again, I'm not talking bad about the sister. I'm keeping it real. Ain't nobody looking to her for something intellectual. We looking for her for the beauty, for what's on the exterior. We're not looking at her for what's up top, what's going on in her mind. We was looking at Tion and Left Eye for what, something intellectual. And that's just real. That's just real. It's not a slight against the sister. I believe she's, capable of intellectual conversation. I think she's capable of, political conversation. But, she's one of them people where, like, it just comes out all wrong when you say it. Like, everything she says just comes out all wrong. Like, you know what she means, but how it be coming out be like, just cringe when she says it. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's one of them people. But it wasn't real rap. It wasn't nothing to get all up in arms about, oh, she's a traitor and F that B and all that. It is what it is, man. Like, you can't force everybody to be with the movement. You can't force everybody to get on code. It's like she's at where she's at. Now, relationship-wise, if the guy's treating her right, whose business is it? As long as she's not getting on that platform spewing nothing anti-black, anti-original man or anti-original woman, long as she don't, step outside of her bounds and, say brothers need to get it together and, brothers need to do this and that. So that's off the table. Once you date outside your race, you can never open your mouth to tell, what, like if I'm a brother, right, and I'm dating I would never date a Caucasian woman, by the way, but I'm just saying, that's my preference. I'm not racist. This is my preference. Like, everybody got a preference, but like if I was dating a Caucasian woman, like how dare I get on my platform and say that's why I'm with her, because y'all sisters, y'all ain't got it together. Y'all need to get it together. And see this one right here, she listened to me and da-da-da-da-da-da, and this, that, and the third. That's a whole different conversation then, ain't it? So then, like, if she got on her platform and was like, y'all brothers need to get it together, that's why I got me a white man, then that's a whole different conversation. But all she said was, I'm caramel. I'm not chocolate. I mean, we got up in arms about Raven Simone a few years ago. She said she's white chocolate. Like, people do be having complexes, but, we can never stray away from our true nature as a people. And our true nature as a people is educators, lovers, and enlighteners. Like, we enlighten people. So we can't enlighten nobody that's lost, that has lost their way, if we're condemning them. So, if she appears to have, lost her way, we can't have that get the F away from us energy to bring her back, to remind her, it's all good over here. So that's all I want to say on that. Like, the internet be internet, and y'all it was a super duper reach. It was a reach. Y'all was reaching with that. Because it really wasn't all that deep. Y'all try to, like, I hate when we do that, get on the internet and make it just super, when we get on that, oh, I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all. When we do that and just like, it's not all that deep. If she wants to date a Caucasian dude, let her date a Caucasian dude and, be happy for them, wish them the best. And, you shouldn't like let that as an entertainer deter you away from buying her music, from watching a movie that she's starring in because of who she's dating. But if you don't want to support her, don't support her. But why expel all this energy by putting a false label over her when twisting and warping what she said, and she didn't really say all that? So I don't believe she's turned her back on us. I believe she's just trying something new. Like, she done dated brothers. She got a history of dating brothers. She dated, I'm pretty sure Dallas Austin wasn't the only brother she done dated. All since she been in Hollywood. That's just the only one we know about. But anyway, that's all I wanted to say. Like that was a super duper reach. Y'all was reaching big time with that. Like if she did have to like turn her back on her brothers, like, you know, I ain't mad at that. I'm not mad at a Lawrence, bro. I'm not mad at one of the Lawrence brothers. Like, all right, go ahead with that. I would be mad if it was like somebody ugly and disgusting. But then again, you know, beauty's all in the eye of the beholder too, because we all ugly to somebody. But anyway, that's all I want to say about that particular topic. We've been reaching. I shouldn't have to point it out. We know about the AT&T crisis that happened earlier. Like, everybody's still going berserk about that. I don't think that directly ties into nothing. They said it was a solar flare, but this could be just the argument that the powers that be needed to validate the reason of why, you know, they're working on a project to blot out the sun because of them solar flares causing problems with, you know, cellular devices. Just a thought. But yeah, that's it. This episode of the Narrative Podcast is officially wrapped. Join me this weekend for another full episode of the Narrative Podcast, wherever you get your podcast information from. I broadcast 2 times a week, once during the weekday, once during the weekend. So just tune into me every single day, whatever you get your podcast information from, so you don't miss out on a weekday edition of the Narrative Podcast. Now, I used to do lives, but the provider that I got my podcast from has removed the live function from there. So now I just say they're weekday editions, but during the weekday I will go live. But now they're just, you know, recorded episodes, just in a different format than my weekend. But yeah, that used to be the biggest difference between the two, is one will be live and then one will be recorded. Now they're both recorded because they removed the live feature on the podcast. But like I said, you know, tune into the Narrative Podcast every single day, wherever you get your podcast information from. And the best way to always be notified on the upload of the Narrative Podcast is to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm Halsey Allen on YouTube. And then I'm also Halsey Allen on X, formerly known as Twitter. Because when I upload, they automatically upload to both mediums. They automatically upload to Twitter and YouTube. After I have a episode uploaded, they upload it to both of those. So, you know, Twitter and YouTube is your best bet. For YouTube, you know, hit the subscribe to Halsey Allen, hit the notification bell, notification all, and then also follow me on Twitter, and you'll always be notified of a Narrative Podcast episode. Also, support my book of poetry that I've written, the Black Card. You can go pick that up on poetizer.com. They have a virtual online bookstore on poetizer.com. It's called, The Black Card. It's a 30-page 30-page book of poetry. And basically it's an all inclusive look at us as a people. You know, our culture and us, you know, everything we go through as a people, you know, everything we experience within our culture and everything we go through as a people, positive and negative, just all our nuances. So basically, it's like a survival card. It'll make a good coffee table read, travel book, a chill book, but definitely go check that out. The name of the book is called The Black Card, available in the Poetizer bookstore on poetizer.com. Pick that up today. Go copy you a copy of the Black Card, or get your Black Card revoked. Last but not least, I also have a poetry blog on blogger.com. It's basically just poems that I spontaneously write in the moment on blogger.com. The address is www.mrhallziesblogs.com. The name of my blog is called Hallzies Poetry Corner. And it's just basically a collection of my poetry that I spontaneously write in the moment. The poems are so good and intricate, you would think that I wrote them beforehand before I posted it, but no, I'm just writing them in the moment as they come to me. I haven't posted nothing new in a while, but I am working on some. I'm trying to get the free time to post again, but I've been so busy with this and other little side projects. But I'm gonna start posting again regularly. But for right now, just go check them out. My poems on blogger.com. Hallzies Poetry Corner, and the address is www.mrhallziesblogs.com on blogger.com. And the way you can support me is by sharing the link to Hallzies Poetry Corner, or a poem featured on Hallzies Poetry Corner on all platforms, like whatever you're affluent on Tumblr, Twitter, X. It's called X now, but Facebook, X, Twitter, whatever. For the visual ones like YouTube and TikTok, you will probably have to, shout out the link, or, shout me out, or a poem featured on Hallzies Poetry Corner on the YouTube, on the TikTok, something that you're in front of the camera. You have to just say that you mess with it like that. But other than that, share the link, or poem featured on Hallzies Poetry Corner on all platforms. And the link again is www.mrhallziesblog.com. And the name of it is Hallzies Poetry Corner. The tagline for that is Hallzies Poetry Corner. Poetry with a passion. Poetry for all occasions. When you read one of them, you'll find out why. And so this episode of the Narrator Podcast is officially wrapped. Go on, hit me up, Halsey Allen at passionwebmail at poeticpassion.host if you want to chop it up, ask me some questions about whatever. Other than that, check me out this weekend for another full episode of the Narrator Podcast. I'm Halsey Allen. I'm changing the narrative one episode at a time. I'm asking you to join me in my quest to change the narrative by becoming a narrator. And while I'm changing the narrative one episode at a time on my end, you can change the narrative one social media post at a time on your end. Until the next time, Halsey Allen and the Narrative Podcast signing off. And it's like that.
I'm
listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.